Ďakujeme veľmi pekne, že ste prišli. Takže uvádzate teda na art filme veľmi osobný dokument. Povedzte nám prosím, približte, o čom ten film je.
Well, basically, everything started 8 years ago when I found out that my half-sister is alive and I decided to find her. But at the very beginning I didn't want to do any kind of film because nobody wants to put the story of her own family front of the public. But I found out so many little things that made me feel that it's more than just about my sister and more than just about my family. And I decided to basically follow up this whole procedure, finding her and finding the answers why nobody ever tried to find her.
A čo bol ten posledný bod, po ktorom ste sa rozhodli, že dobre, teraz to teda idem natočiť?
When I decided that I want to find her, I believe that I'm a kind of like a detective. And but at the beginning it was fun, you know. No film ideas, just simply a sister searching for her own sister. So I started to visit my family members, and as many family members I talked to, as many different stories I heard about her. And it was a kind of a feeling that you are talking about one person, but I had a feeling that we are talking about 10 different sisters, 10 different cousins. And for a filmmaker, such a diversity of characters led me to the fact that, okay, maybe there is more than just me searching for my sister. Maybe there is something what I can put on a camera.
No a tým, že vy ste aj režisérka, aj protagonistka zároveň, tak sa chcem opýtať, že aké to bolo prelínať sa medzi týmito dvoma rovinami, že zároveň aj byť protagonistka, ale zároveň aj tak filmársky pátrať.
It's a very interesting question because it comes with a lot of conflict, because you play, I would say, 3 roles at the same times. You are the director of the film, you are the sister of the person who you are searching for, and you are a family member also. And what is good for the sister is not necessarily good for the director. And what is good for the director, for example, big words, big shows, a sister says stop. Because not everything can be shown simply due to ethical reasons or simply due to the fact that you draw the line that, okay, this is what I show and this is not. So there are always conflicts mainly between the director me and the sister me.
A viete nám spomenúť nejaký konkrétny príklad takého konfliktu?
Yeah. One of the Q&As, they asked me that what was the hardest experience, hardest moment while doing this film, and I remember that the hardest part was the part when deciding not to show the worst moments. Because finding someone after 27 years, it was a kind of a waterfall of stories. Waterfall of not necessarily nice stories, very uncomfortable stories, very tragic stories, and I had to draw the line that, okay, this is the story I can offer the viewer, show from her environment, and there are the very deep and very painful parts that I decided not to put in because I believe it was too much. And I believe that viewers are not silly. Sometimes the silence give more meaning than words. So the viewer can add emotions and can add the sentences behind certain silences.
Teraz ste spomínali, že ten waterfall, áno, tých príbehov. Takže teda každý člen rodiny ten príbeh rozpráva inakšie. Že ako sa vám podarilo pracovať s týmito rozpornými postojmi, názormi?
It was very important for me that who decided to participate in this film will never regret to be part of it. Therefore, I decided try not to put anyone in a bad position, even though they think differently. And as I think differently, my point of view is shown in the film also, because as a child I imagined her alive. I imagine her on a seaside, having beautiful dresses, high heels, living in a yellow house, and there was always some little blue bird around her house. So I had my own version also. In the film, this part is shown with the help of an animation. But regarding the other stories, I was thinking about the way how to tell those stories, but at the end I decided that I let them to talk how they are, because sometimes just seeing the person confronting the moment or the person is much stronger than creating another layer of the film, for example from archives or from animation. So I decided to make them just to sit in their safe environment and be between each other.
A bolo na tých nakrúceniach niečo, čo vás samú prekvapilo, že ste nečakali, že sa to takto vyvinie?
I would love to say that yes, because I had expectations. I had a feeling that, okay, finally after 27 years we are talking about it, because we never talked about it. It was a kind of a taboo, if I may say that. And I believed that, okay, making this film gonna make massive changes, and we're gonna be together again. We're gonna have nice chicken soups on Sundays and the family parties. Well, the truth is, everything continued as it was before. So who supported her supports it until today, and who was against her is against her until today. So there are no big changes, if I may say that.
Čo by si z filmu mal odnášať divák, ktorý vašu rodinu nepozná?
When making this film, I had a little fear that what if this story is just the story of my family, and how can a viewer connect to such a personal story? But at the very first screening that was in Budapest, there were around 300 people watching the film, and after that film was a Q&A. The audience was in complete darkness, and after the lady talking to me as the audience, and I was expecting film-related questions, and that was the moment I realized that no, this film is not about me at all, not about my sister. It's about a general problem. And instead of, I have even now goosebumps of those moments, that they stood up in that darkness and they started to share their own stories, which was so touching. Some of them was even crying. I have no clue. It was a lady, but it was dark. And she was sharing her story while crying for 15 minutes. And in front of everyone, it was a kind of like a, how do you call those family sessions, you know, at the psychologists, but we were like 300. So it was amazing to see how much the people can connect via their own family, not necessarily because they lost someone or somebody is missing from their family, but the film is also about not talking, taboos, not questioning, just accepting the things how they are. And it was very nice to see when, for example, after one of the screenings, one old chap came to me and he just said, "Thank you. I'm gonna call Miro after 15 years." And he left. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. He was not kind, but I didn't care. The main thing was that it made him to make that step.
A určite to teda vyvoláva aj emóciu. A akú emóciu to vyvolalo u vás, keď uvádzate to tu na art filme? Ako ste sa cítili teraz?
It's a good question because I was very much always interested that how the reaction gonna be among non-Hungarians, because the film is very much narrative based. So the film is narrated by me mainly, and watching the translations, the subtitles must be hard. And I was always curious that in the same culture environment I'm coming from, but speaking a different language, Slovak, how this film gonna be understood. I know that an English-speaking audience got it, but I'm more interested about my home environment because we are basically coming from the same culture background, but we speak different languages. So it's gonna be the first time showing the film at home among non-Hungarian speakers, so I'm looking forward for it.
A ak nám viete prezradiť, prosím, posledná otázka, že na čom by ste chceli pracovať ďalej?
Oh, I decided to make some fun film. I love fun. I love comedies, mainly absurd comedies. So recently, a year ago, I did some research. I found a legend, a village legend. There's a little village not far from Bratislava, a Hungarian village, and I found a story there that made me laugh. And this little legend didn't let me basically sleep. And I was just thinking about, oh my God, this legend is so great, so funny. How is it possible that the people believe until today? And after 1 year, I said to myself, okay, if this story is not letting me breathe, live, maybe I should do something from it. So it's gonna be a fiction. It has nothing to do with documentaries, but story is a story. So it has characters, conflicts, its own dramaturgy, so it's gonna be a fiction. And fun. After this film, I need a lot of fun.